Alright, hello guys. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a logo in Illustrator. So for this, I'm going to be focusing on the Rocket League community. Now if you're watching, you're going to make a logo, it's still going to be the same exact concept. So what we're going to do, we're going to come over to new file, create, I would recommend like 1,000 by 1,000, it's pretty good. Make sure it's on points, create. So once you've gotten your blank canvas, you have your interface over here. The only three tools you're really ever going to need when making logos is the selection tool, the direct selection tool, the pen tool, and the curvature tool. Now that we've gotten all four of those down, what we need to do is set up our guide points. So press Control R on your keyboard, come up to 504. And then scroll down, trying to line it up with 504 on the left side. And now that we've done that, it'd do the same exact thing, but opposite side. And you get our quadrants in. So for our first quadrant, we're going to be making the wing. And so for the wing, I'm thinking probably do... or we can do something else, but for the base we're just gonna do a wing. So we're not going for any crazy kind of wing, we're just gonna make a wing. It's just gonna be a basic square. So now that you've done that, come over to your colors on the left. They should have a line through it. You have your fill and you have your stroke. So click on your fill and turn it to black. And once you've gotten it in black, press Ctrl C, Ctrl V to duplicate your object. Come up to Object on your task toolbar at the very top and press Transform, Reflect. And then click Vertical and you should be good. So now we want to align our logo. So let's go ahead and align it how we want it. I'd say that's pretty good. In my opinion, that's just what I'm doing. So let's say we want a second wing. So in our bottom left quadrant, or if we want the same size wing, we can come over here, Control C, Control V, and duplicate it. So now this is going to be a little different, because obviously we're not keeping it there. We want the wing to point down. So press Reflect, go to Horizontal. This will flip your logo horizontally and it'll make it where it's pointing down, in my case. So I want this to be a little smaller, so I'm going to decrease the size. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to place this where I want it. So we're going to duplicate this, Object, Transform, Reflect. Now here we want to do vertical because we've already horizontally duplicated it earlier. So align it. I'm not going for perfection here. Y'all I'm sure will. So here we have our base. It looks pretty cool. So let's delete our guidelines. We do not need those anymore. Now I want a tail or a diamond, but for my case I want to do a tail here. So let's come somewhere in the middle here and let's create kind of like a tail like shape. It's not the prettiest at all. It's not even close to being how I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo that one because that definitely did not turn out correct. So now we've gotten that, you go ahead and fill it in. Now we need to duplicate it because we want two feathers, or spikes in our case. So vertical, and align this correctly. And now that we've done that, let's go ahead and align this to the center. And now we've got our base logo, let's say. So let's go ahead and scale it up, that way we can see it a lot better. So we've got our logo. I want a diamond on each crevice, let's say. That's a lot, but This is just for the tutorial. So once again, you want to make your shape. So for me, I'm just going to do a very, very basic diamond. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to then duplicate our shape. Object, transform, reflect. And we'll put it together. And it's definitely not a good diamond. Like, it's not even close. But for the sake of this, this is just to show you how to merge objects. Come here, select the objects you want to merge, right click, and click group. And if you really want them to be connected, group is the way to go because you can still separate them, but they're together. If you really just don't want them there, you can press ungroup and you press join, and this will join them together once you have selected them. Join. It should merge them. So now that we've gotten that, in my case, I want to group them, so we're gonna just group. So now that we've done that, Control C, Control V, and we'll just put these on these sides here. Now I want to cut a hole in my object. Which object? We're gonna go for this top one up here. So we need to create a object for the hole. So for me, I'm just gonna do a basic little circle oval thing. We're going to make it white since we want it to be a contrast to our other thing. Let's put it right there. That's a good thing. So now we need this specific tool. It's called the Pathfinder tool. You can find it by going to Window, scroll down past your layers, and it should be Pathfinder. Click on it and go over to the Pathfinder tab. So you have your Unite, Minus, Intersect, and Exclude. The only one you need for cutting holes is Minus, and you'll see why. So we want this one right here. That is our object that we want the hole to be cut, and this is our hole. So what you want to do, you want to click your object that you're creating the hole, then you want to click your hole, and then you want to come over to Minus, just click it once, and voila, you have a hole in your object. And there it is. And it will remove your hole, and it'll basically put it onto that. But it shows up as a hole and not as a white circle. So now that you've learned all of that, what you want to do now is you want to come into File, Export, Export As, choose what you want to name it. I'm just going to name it Tutorial for this. Export it, do high 300 ppi, no anti-aliasing, and background color transparent. That'll make it so that when you import it into Photoshop, there is no need to erase it. It is just there. So now we press OK, and there you go. You now have a logo.